Rightio, how we going? This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Let's get amongst it.
We've got 45 minutes today, so super excited. Just wanted to say cheers for an epic weekend. I'm losing my voice, as you can imagine, but quick hands up. Who's a BGs and Bergs listener out of interest? Who listens to the podcast? Amazing.
The rest of you are in for a treat.
Hopefully some of you listen after this. We're good to go. Rightio, I'm going to try and do the intro.
And just for those that don't know, there will be swearing. It will be a bit unhinged.
And we're going to do some Q&A at the end, so if you have some questions. We've got a bit of a rough script, but those that don't know this podcast, it's essentially a bit of shit talking. We talk some crypto. He just bullies me most of the time, and then we'll hopefully get some value.
You got one of those heads that just needs to be bullied.
Oh, fuck you. Rightio, welcome back to another episode of the BGs and Bergs podcast. I'm Ben, your favourite high school dropout, and founder of Collective Shift. Alongside me is Bergs, our COO, and your favourite MBA and COO of Collective Shift.
You still can't get it right, mate.
I'm still going to fuck it up. Anyway, today we're talking about how we would invest $100,000 in crypto. We're going to go through a bunch of different stuff. We're going to go through our portfolios. We're going to go through some degen plays. Might get a little bit unhinged. We're going to get into some meme coins. And then we're going to talk about the bull case for crypto. And then going to take some questions. But, Bergs, man, you had 9 hours sleep last night.
It was the best. Didn't have my wife, my daughter, my anxious dog. No one woke me up. Cracking 9.5 hours of sleep. So I wake up this morning. Ben's got my shirt. Give him a call about 9 a.m. No answer. 9:30. No answer. Picks up the phone. Oh, man. How was your night last night, mate?
Well, one thing led to another. And the Coinbase event was good. And the 1-inch event was good. And then we ended up at karaoke. So I was seeing Katy Perry at some ungodly hour of the morning this morning.
Can't help yourself, can you?
It was 3 a.m. I'm like, fuck, I got a podcast a few hours, better go.
And then you try to get DT. He's got your bag with your precious hair gel in it.
I didn't have my hair product. My team had my stuff. Half the Collective Shift team was out at karaoke. We had a pretty good weekend. Hands up if you're a Collective Shift member. Actually, out of interest. Any members in the room? Amazing,
Nice.
Thank you. Any Platinum members? Amazing. Well done. We've got some merch as well at the end if you haven't seen our awful pics. Anyway, let's get into it. Bergs, Bitcoin's pumping, man.
How good is it, mate?
Yeah, so we obviously teetered at 100,000. I do think if you see the sell orders on Coinbase, there's literally thousands of Bitcoins being tried to be sold at 100,000. So I think it's going to be hard to push through 100,000. My prediction is once we go through 100,000, we might get to 120, 130, and then probably have a decent sized pullback. But I wanted to talk about, a little bit about like the MicroStrategy stuff that's been going on. Donald Trump, or Donald Pump as we like to call him. Talk us through the MicroStrategy play and how like the flywheel of businesses now buying Bitcoin on the balance sheet is going to take us to $1 million.
All right, before we do that, let's talk about Trump. And we'll lead up to MicroStrategy because that's a big one. So Trump, China. Give us a flavour of that, mate.
So basically, like, if Kamala Harris was to be elected, like, and again, I'm just talking crypto, we would obviously not in this position, and there's probably 20 people here today. What Trump's doing is essentially, they already own 1%. If you didn't know, the government of the US already own 1% of the Bitcoin supply, which is nuts. They put a proposal forward to buy another 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years. If that actually gets passed through, like, it's game on. And he's essentially hiring crypto advisors around him to continue growing the balance sheet. I then expect other countries to follow. And if you heard Raoul Powell's talk, if you heard Raoul speak from Real Vision, like his vision is that we go to a $100 trillion market cap. Like we're at 3 trillion. Like holy fuck, what does 100 trillion look like? That's a lot from here. But I think Trump and like China and things happening is going to push us that way.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted you to talk about that first is we've had a red sweep in the States, absolutely amazing. And instead of having a huge headwind, it's turned into a tailwind. And this is what you're seeing in the market right now. It's incredible. Now, MicroStrategy. So I've gone deep on this. I'm going to explain a little bit about what Saylor is doing. And it's important because he is leading the way. So many more companies and countries are following. So let's get into MicroStrategy. He's doing a thing called accretive dilution. Very big, fancy words. Accretive means when a financial transaction goes through, you get a benefit. Dilution means you have less of something. If you've got 1 in 100 shares, it goes to 200 shares, you now own 1 in 200, half less. What he's actually doing, he's got a company called, operating company, MicroStrategy, that cash flows. He can issue debt through shares or bonds. And the benefit of this is it's very cheap for him to do. To pay back that capital is incredibly cheap. And he's also even doing zero coupon bonds. What that means is people are loaning money to MicroStrategy. They don't want any money back from it. They want to convert it into MicroStrategy shares. So the big thing here is he's building this huge flywheel, this huge machine for his company to acquire more Bitcoin, and he's so far ahead of everyone else. It's essentially a leveraged Bitcoin play. Instead of doing it yourself, you can buy MicroStrategy. The interesting thing is that he's protecting on the upside and the downside as well. And he was asked a question, what if Bitcoin goes to zero? He's like, well, it's not going to happen. Everyone's a Bitcoin maxi that buys MicroStrategy. But what happens if Bitcoin goes down to 20K? And he was saying with the way that they're set up and the way that they trade, they'll make something like 10 billion. But if it goes higher, they'll make 100 billion. So he protected on both sides. And he is signing up everyone left, right, and center. It's a Bitcoin machine. He's scooping all of it up, which is just incredible. What gets really interesting is when this flywheel starts going, he eventually gets in the S&P 500, scoops up all the zombie capital from ETFs. All the ETFs, mutual funds, 401ks, whatever, that just constantly buy the S&P, that will start to go to his company and fuel the flywheel.
And I think this is like the ultra bull case for businesses, and like, you know, this time is different is always a scary thing, but this balance sheet move is what I think a lot of companies are going towards. Like if you're sitting on a shitload of cash, where are you putting your money? Like Bitcoin is the thing that balance sheets, you know, are going to continue to grow. So this model and the MicroStrategy model is, I think, is going to continue to be replicated by some of the biggest companies in the world. And that's where we're going to see Bitcoin really push into the hundreds of thousands. But the ultimate bull case is this continues to happen. We have corrections, but maybe, and I'm separating Bitcoin from altcoins. Like the bull case is that Bitcoin continues to run. Altcoins, we go into a deeper bear market. Bitcoin corrects. But honestly, like if you can get to $1 million personally, you know, of Bitcoin, but compounding at 45% a year on average over the last 10 years, you're set for life. Like if you can get to $1 million in Bitcoin, it's all over, like you're done. So I think from personally and from a business standpoint, this is really where the future's gonna be.
Yeah, and the wildest thing with MicroStrategy is issues more debt, buys more Bitcoin, the price goes up because he's buying. Because the price has gone up, he can access more equity and more debt, and the flywheel just really starts to go.
Now let's talk about Ethereum.
Oh, fuck.
And altcoins. Because I own a lot. Who's an ETH bag holder?
Show us your bags. Come on, hands up. Don't lie.
I know. I'm crying with you. But I think if we look at the ETH-BTC chart over previous cycles, we're nearly at that point in Bitcoin dominance and the ETH-BTC where we start to see it bottom. What I believe is going to happen is Bitcoin will get to 110, 120, start to maybe consolidate, and then the money will flow down. Like, we need to go over there, man.
Wild.
That's when I think the money's going to flow from your Ethereum and down into the altcoins. A lot of the focus is on meme coins, which we're going to talk about very soon. But I'm very heavy into utility coins and DeFi projects. A lot of people are asking me right now, like, should I sell my Ethereum for Solana and Sui? These are really good bottom signals when people are starting to give up on Ethereum. So don't give up. I'm very bullish. I think over the next 2 or 3 months, money will rotate. And that beautiful God candle, man. Get that God candle.
I talked to one guy and he's so deep in ETH, all he can do is buy more ETH. That is the play for him.
Okay, Bergs, I want to talk about your portfolio.
Let's get into it.
So we're going to share our portfolios. Now, if you hadn't noticed, we're very different people.
I think they have, mate. Look at
you
that
didn't
lid.
notice?
It's the worst lid.
I'm far better looking, but...
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, fucking 20 times more useless.
Okay, let's go you first, Bergs. Talk us through it.
So this is my portfolio. Very heavy in BTC, 65%, 32% ETH, and then I've got a bunch of coins that aren't even worth mentioning, plus stuff I can't value, like NFTs. I'm in a guild with a couple of people.
How's your NFTs, man?
Oh, mate, down only. I saw Forza up the back there somewhere. He's claimed a lot of losses for me, so thanks, Forza, mate. Carry that forward in perpetuity. And I give them a bunch of money. They go trade some stuff, whatever. That's a very small slice of my portfolio. So as you can see, BTC doing amazing. ETH, 32%, still relatively flat, but I've still got hope. But the interesting thing is, this is just my crypto portfolio. If you go to the next slide, this is my entire portfolio, which I can't read on that small screen. So real estate is 35% of my net worth. Crypto is 26%, cash 16%, stocks 14%, debt 4%, infrastructure 3%, and private equity 1%. I also own equity in Collective Shift, but that's not up there. That's not up there because I can't value it. So really, the way I'm structured like this, and we talk about crypto, but you need to look at crypto in terms of your entire net worth. It is just one asset class. Some people are happy being all in with crypto with Ben. He's very young. He's 26. I'm 41. I have a family. I have a daughter. And this is how I'm allocated. Mate, everyone knew that just by looking at you. So this comes back to what am I optimizing for? And I'm optimizing for happiness and freedom. Happiness can be whatever you want it to be. For me, it's calmness and contentment. They are my two drivers. So I do activities that relate to that. That flows into my investing. I've tried being a trader. I've been in ICOs, NFTs, on the screen all day, every day, and I hate it. There's an opportunity to make money, but it's not the person I want to be, and the person I become sucks. So this is why I'm allocated this way.
Bergs, really quickly, sorry. Talk us through the way you debt recycle to buy more crypto through your property.
Oh, mate, here we go. So I've got a primary place of residence. This has gone up significantly in value. You can unlock that equity through your bank. You can then take that capital that you have, say you've got 100K, they'll lend you 80K, take that 80K, invest it elsewhere. People usually buy this to buy another property. I use it to buy crypto. What I've done is take non-deductible debt and make it tax deductible at my marginal rate of tax. So there's efficiency, leveraging debt in order to invest in the market. The decision is never really, and of course not financial advice, should you debt recycle? The answer is always yes. It's should you invest for the return that you're getting.
Who owns property? Hands up, property owners? Yeah, sweet.
There you go. Leverage that debt, accelerate your wealth, and then you can use the profits that you have to pay down your property faster or your property portfolio. Let's go back to the freedom piece, and this is a Navalism, but it's a lot of people are freedom to go on a holiday, freedom to buy a car, freedom to have a week off. I want freedom from having to worry, freedom from having to go to work, freedom from having to stress. And you'll notice I have quite a high cash position, 16%. And it's significant because for me, that's 2 years worth of living expenses. A lot of people...
You must get paid a lot.
Nah, not from you, mate. This is all pre-collective shift. It's just down since I joined. As you can see, I'm doing this podcast right now, down only. So for me, it's a couple of years worth of living expenses. And really, that's an ability to say, fuck you. So I don't have to worry. Let's say Ben fires me tomorrow. Fuck you, don't worry.
Thinking about it, man. Fucking no.
Easy.
Thinking about
or he flips his lid, I don't want to work there. Fuck you. Markets absolutely tank. My stocks go down, my crypto goes down. Let's say it goes down 50%. I don't have to sell any of that. Fuck you, market. That is a position I want to be in, and that is something I want to maintain. I'm not optimizing every single dollar for maximum return. I'm optimizing for my lifestyle.
I think that time freedom is a big one. One thing I've realized is, you accumulate more wealth is that money doesn't necessarily make you happy. Like, it can buy you things, but I think time and being able to do the things that you love with the people you love, like, that's what's most important.
Yeah, like my daughter, she's 9 now. I have 18 summers with her. I want to maximize that time. Spend time with her, go on holidays, not being stressed in front of a computer, maximizing every dollar for a bunch of spending tokens that I'm never going to spend.
So are you buying more crypto right now?
Yes.
What are you buying?
I'm buying Bitcoin, and I'm probably going to buy some MicroStrategy. Should I do my sell strategy now? Or you want to do your portfolio then sell strategy?
I'll go my portfolio.
All right.
Because that was boring.
Oh, I'm Ben. I shared a room with my brother. I'm 99% in crypto.
Okay, so I haven't shared all my altcoins because that's why our members pay us money. But I'm going to talk through some of the investments, and then we're going to get to how we would invest $100,000. So I've been accumulating Bitcoin for a long time. Like I did have a lot more Bitcoin. I sold a lot to build Collective Shift 4 years ago. But I fundamentally believe holding Bitcoin for the long term is the play. Bitcoin and property, right? People look for passive income. That's a great idea. It's very hard in theory. The execution for me on passive income is through property. So I don't own any right now. I'm 99% exposed to crypto. I don't know anything else, and have cash on our balance sheet. But pretty much any cash or spare cash I have is in the market, and has been for nearly 8 years. I've been buying Ethereum since $80. But in the layer 1 category, I've now, about 6 or 12 months ago, diversified into Solana and Sui. So next gen layer ones, in my opinion, is the play. I recently went to Token 2049, and all the conversation around VCs is infrastructure over consumer apps. VCs can make way more money in infrastructure plays like layer ones than consumer apps. There's not many consumer applications that have actually made it. The only one really, the two, one is Polymarket on Ethereum or Polygon, and Pump.fun. They're really the only two consumer apps that are really being used at the moment. So a lot of the VCs look to optimize bigger money into the infrastructure plays. That's why I believe Solana's going way higher. I think Sui's going way higher. I think Ethereum's going to really break out. So I've got a big allocation there in layer one. You want to say something?
No, I'm just laughing at the notes. I quit school when I was 17, running a sportswear company, sending money to China every month.
Yeah, they're the wrong notes.
Mate, can't trust you to do anything.
The other side, DeFi, I'm very heavy. So for those members or you follow me online, Maple Finance is a big favorite of mine. Full disclosure, I own a lot. But one thing that I liked about these projects and what I've learned in crypto is the best projects are usually the ones that can make it through the bear market. Right, the bear market is the hardest for these projects to break out. Like back in the day, Synthetics, Aave, all these massive companies were built out of the bear market. Maple was one of the few DeFi projects that made it through. But Maple aside, DeFi I think is going to have a really big run next year. Once Ethereum starts to go, and utility coins start to go, I think Maple's going to really fly. Now the next allocation, as I've really gone heavy on, is meme coins. Who owns meme coins?
How did you make that decision? It was probably, a month ago now, to start allocating into meme coins.
Yeah, I was really against meme coins for a long time. Like, I'm a fundamentals guy, and like meme coins have, basically no fundamentals. But one of the biggest lessons I've learned investing in, or any space, but crypto predominantly, is the market is the market, and it doesn't give a fuck about you or I. It does not care. You can hold whatever you want, you can hope as much as you want, but it doesn't care. Trying to fight the trend and fight the narrative is what's going to lose you out in the long term. So I started to realize this, and really where the meme coin culture is going is this tokenization of culture, right? Like instantly it's happening at the most fastest pace I've ever seen. Pump.fun, you literally click a button and you can create a meme coin now. There's over 2.5 million altcoins in the market, right? Nuts. Anything that's happening online right now, any meme, anything that happens online, that kid the other day that was like rug pulled and gave her one of these ones.
Oh, bro.
Right? Who saw that, yeah?
My favourite one was, did anyone watch the Mike Tyson fight? Within a quarter of a second of his interview where he turns around and you see his naked ass, there was about 50 coins like Mike Tyson's ass on Pump.fun. It is that quick.
This is where like there's internet culture, right? This is the kids, the next generation. You got Twitch streamers talking about this. It's where all the focus is. One of our platinum members, Ron, and his son, I think he's 12, 13 years old. I think he's made $70,000, $80,000. 12-year-old has made $80,000 in meme coins.
What a lad. What an absolute lad. Good on you.
He's a Ben and Bergs listener, that's why I think that.
Champion.
So meme coins, and I'll talk about this in my $100,000 strategy, but like I focus on the top 100. Who's full-time in crypto actually? Who does nothing else but trade crypto? Okay, cool. Maybe like 4 or 5, sweet. So for the rest of us that, have a life, and
You just like put your hand up. Whack.
Well, I mean like that are busy.
For the rest of us that aren't fully dedicated to crypto.
Sorry. Fuck this guy, man.
Mate. Can't take you anywhere, mate.
Maybe the Ben show is, though.
No one will show up.
I focus on the top 100, right? I think the top 100 is going to get a lot of attention. And the major exchanges right now, anything listing on Coinbase or Robinhood, these are the things that are pumping. So a month ago, I invested into Pepe, Whiff, and Popcat. They're really my top 3. Pepe got listed on Coinbase and pumped 50% overnight. It gained $4 billion in market cap overnight. Like, that's nuts, right? This is back to 2017, 2021 stuff when you get these major listings. So I'm looking at Solana's really the main play for memes. That's Whiff and Popcat. Fingers crossed Popcat gets listed on Coinbase. It's the highest probability right now on Polymarket. I have no insider word. I have no idea, but if it does...
And you're right. Like, talking about meme coins, we're not massive fans of meme coins, but you can't ignore the narrative and the meta. You have to go with it. You're in the ocean. The waves are just coming. You choose to either duck under those waves or you go with them and you ride it into the shore, whether you like it or not.
One area I got wrong was the layer 2 narrative. I went pretty hard on Polygon last year. really, that's got no attention. I sold that off at 20, 30% down a couple of months ago. I think it's important to realize when you made a mistake. Like anyone this weekend that's been up on stage saying they're 100% right, and I've seen some fucking wild shit of people saying they're 100% right. Absolutely not. No one gets 100% right in investing. You need to realize when you make those mistakes and move on. You know, hoping.
If you don't get it wrong, you're not a real investor. Whether it's shares or anything else, you're never going to get it right 100% of the time.
Like you're majority wrong, but like I help you out.
I'm wrong for joining you and doing this podcast, mate.
The next part, like I've got a little bit of AI. I think AI is going to have a good run. Gaming and metaverse. I've got I hold Prime in my portfolio. Prime's like an AI gaming coin. That's really the only exposure I have. Ronin I have as well. Ronin's a gaming blockchain. Really hasn't performed too well. The AI gaming and metaverse narrative really hasn't been, you know, in the limelight at all. If you were at my talk yesterday, who was actually at my talk yesterday over here? Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool.
About 6 people.
Yeah, 6. There's only 10 people there. For those that weren't there, the year-to-date returns in crypto, it's all been meme coins and next-gen layer ones. Everything else has basically been down. So, you know, Bitcoin, Solana, next-gen layer ones and meme coins. That changes. Narrative changes really fast. I really want to urge you not to try and chase and get FOMO in the market as well. Like when your coin's not pumping and something else is, you have that urge to sell and chase. I've done it many times back in the day. You really get chopped out. And I see it a lot with our clients. You start chasing narratives. Try not to. Try and get in narratives. Again, easy said than done. But get into these projects and narratives earlier before the wave hits, and that's where you're going to make your money.
Mate, should we do our sell strategies? And then if you gave us 100K today, where we put in the market. So we'll do the sell strategies first.
You go sell strategy.
So I've changed, go back to my pie chart. So I've changed my sell strategy significantly. Listeners would know that I was waiting for 150K USD Bitcoin, and I was going to start selling down and eventually go to a property, big Euro trip, a few other things that I wanted. Things have changed significantly since the election. Trump, Red Sweep, Vance, Vivek, all being Bitcoiners, strategic reserves, and how wild is that? Like USA, buying a strategic reserve of Bitcoin, they came off Bretton Woods like 71, 50-something years ago, and now they're going back, but with digital gold. That just blows my mind.
Just quick hands. Who's taken profits yet this cycle, like in the last 6 to 12 months? Who's taken money off?
Nice. I love to see this.
Nice.
This is brilliant.
Who's never taken profits ever? Who's never sold? Who's hodled? Nice.
Hey!
Nice.
That's brilliant. So for me, I was going to sell that Bitcoin. With Trump happening, countries buying it, Germany like FOMOing out and then wanting to come back in. I think there's now 10 companies in the States that have actually bought it, put it on their balance sheet. With the things that Saylor is doing and how much Bitcoin has accelerated, I've now changed that strategy to the point where I'm never selling my Bitcoin. If my goal is to get a property, I could sell some Bitcoin, I could get that property, I'll manage it for 9 years till my daughter's 18 and then give it to her. Or I could just buy Bitcoin, not have to worry about all of that, and buy more than one house. And this was really highlighted to me from Checkmate at our Platinum Day, where this was before the big pump, when Bitcoin was still around like 60K. And he said he's been holding since 2019, and even though property prices have skyrocketed, because he held, he can now buy 86% more house than he could in 2019, even with the prices going up. So I will not sell my Bitcoin. I'm going to offload the majority of my shitcoins, and I'm going to sell a big bag of ETH.
You're never going to sell your Bitcoin?
No, I just don't need to. Because that is one thing that is going to go up. If I have, for every marginal dollar I have, where is that best placed? For me, that is Bitcoin. If I sell it, I'm taking it away from future profits, future gains, and now I have a cash problem. If I absolutely need the money to buy something, of course I'll do it, but I don't. I can do it through shares or my cash or money I get from the business through dividends or my wage. I don't need the cash flow for my lifestyle.
Yeah, you get paid too much, so you're good.
Fuck this guy.
Are you done?
Yeah, go on. Let's hear your shitty sell strategy, mate.
So my sell strategy, one of the things about holding Bitcoin right now is that you can actually start to lend against your BTC. Right, this is really what the rich do. I've got to be careful because it gets in financial advice territory, but essentially what the rich do outside of crypto is you have a bunch of assets and you lend against it, so you never have to sell your assets and you never actually get a taxable event. Right, so you still have your asset, you can cash flow it and you pay it back with interest. That is now available.
Just on that, so there's a strategy called buy, borrow, die. It doesn't really work. I don't know any rich people that do it. It might actually be possible with Bitcoin. If it keeps appreciating like the way we think it will, Obviously, the appreciation will slow down in time. You can borrow against that, use that, and if your Bitcoin keeps going up, your LVR goes down, and then you eventually die and give that to your kids. You can exit the tax system. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, so you can, and now you can essentially take a loan out against your Bitcoin. Let's say you have a $2 million Bitcoin portfolio. You take out, I think you can get maybe 33% LVR, maybe higher, 50%. Take out $1 million in cash, buy a house, and you never sold your Bitcoin, and then you can just pay the interest back. And if it's an investment property, negative gear up, however you want to do, make some money.
Get the rent money paid back.
Yeah. With my altcoins, looking to really get out. I said yesterday in my talk, try not to be a hero in a bull market, right? When the market goes up, really try and take some profits. But really, the most gains in this bull market from altcoins is going to come in the last month. The last month is usually fucking nuts, right? But we did some research on our platform with our analysts recently, and we looked at like how long some of these assets lasted in the top, few percentile. Dogecoin last cycle was in the top 10%. Sorry, it was in its top 10% of its price for 5 hours. So you're essentially waiting 4 years for 5 hours, right? And if you miss it, you're on the way down. Very hard. Bitcoin was in the top 5 or 10%, I think, for a week. Solana, 4 or 5 days. ETH about the same. So essentially what I'm trying to say is it's very, very, very hard to pick the top, especially for altcoins, to try and take some profits out as you go up. Because once you miss the top, who's round-tripped before? I have, by the way. Round-tripped, yes,
twice.
Fucking sucks. Very hard to start selling on the way down, right? Because you're like, well, it was here, now I'm selling here, and then 2 years later, we're all poor again. So on the way up, take profits. For me, I'm putting them into stable coins because I want to reinvest in the next bear market. I want you all to start thinking in multiple cycles. Like, crypto's not going to die after this cycle. There's going to be better opportunities. Next bear market. Stable coins are a great way to just re-enter the market because the banks are fucked now. They don't want you to put their money out of cash and back into crypto, right? Combank are the worst.
Yeah.
It's 10 grand now.
You raise a good point about a sell strategy. So when you actually sell, you might have price targets or you might have hit your goal, whatever metric you use. Actually write out how you're going to do that. And especially if you haven't sold before. First of all, does the exchange have the coins that you have that you can sell it on? Are you going to use some DEX or DeFi protocol to then get it into stable coins? Where are you going to cash out to AUD? What are the tax implications of that? For each coin you own, the targets you have, write that down. I went through with Ben, you did your sell strategy, but not actually what you're going to do. You're like, oh shit. Well, I think your one was move it to SwixDex, OTC, cash, keep some money for tax, buy a house.
Yeah, my goal is just buy a bunch of property at the top of the cycle, hold stables, and then go again. Okay, enough of the boring stuff. 100K.
Oh man,
What are we doing?
So, I firmly, there's not enough Bitcoin, right? This thing is getting scooped up. So many people are going to want this. And if you think about people that bought really early, let's say like 2010, even earlier, they have thousands of Bitcoin. They will spend millions, if not billions of dollars and still have more Bitcoin than the majority of people here. People here today, in 10 years, you will be those people that have millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and the people that are coming up will think 0.001 Bitcoin is a massive amount. I want people to really think about that and consider it. And again, simple metrics we used to talk about back in the day, however many millionaires there are in the world, 65 million, 100 million, whatever, 21 million Bitcoin, a lot's been lost, a lot is locked up in companies.
Okay, so you're waffled on, but how are you investing $100,000?
Yeah. So I'm going to put 50% into Bitcoin. I'm going to put about 20%, so 20 grand. And this is if I have to go right over now to CoinSpot or SwiftX and just invest it, right? So 50K Bitcoin, 20% MicroStrategy, and I'm punting 30K on meme coins.
Okay, what meme coins?
Mate, they're going to be top 100 ones because I don't want to bother them. It's going to be Pepe, Dogwifhat, Popcat, probably those.
Well, where'd you get that from?
This loser I work with. Where'd you get that from?
Me.
Bullshit, you got it from the analyst team, mate. What are you talking about? And the reason I'm doing that is because if you think about a barbell strategy, usually you will have non-risky things on one side, hyper-risky on the other, nothing in the middle. Bitcoin now belongs on the property side. It is very, very safe. So I'm going right towards the other side, and I'm going hyper-risky with meme coins.
Okay, so my 100,000, again, I would put 50% in BTC and hold forever. But I'm probably going to put like 10 to 15% each in Solana and Sui. I think they're both going to do really, really well.
I was going to say that. I was going to put 10% each in Solana and Sui because of all the research that's coming out, and I just can't ignore it. But at the same time, MicroStrategy is just so tasty.
Popcat, Whiff, and Pepe. They're really my top three. I do have a couple of degen plays, which I'm gonna push out as well. I wouldn't do this with my Collective Shift t-shirt, but I will on the BGs and Bergs. So I've got two degen plays. These are my Hail Marys. So one is DMT, and it's not the drug, DMT, Dream Machine Token. DMT is a new layer 3 on Arbitrum, and they're essentially trying to build a decentralized YouTube. They've got a bunch of different stuff. They're building a DEX and a bunch of different stuff. I've been investing in them for a little while. Again, layer 3s are not going to really run until Ethereum runs, so I'm waiting for that. I'm in that before the narrative arrives. And the other one is IMF, which is essentially like the maker DAO for meme coins. Like the Bitcoin strategy I just mentioned, with loaning against it, you can do it with meme coins, which is absolutely crazy. But degens love that. And I think that's going to be potentially, it's a Hail Mary, 1 in 100. Please don't invest more than you're willing to lose, not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. Be careful. But,
mate, just the hope here, mate.
Bergs doesn't
just
believe it's not going to go up.
You saw the IMF lads yesterday, mate.
Yeah, no, it's good. Have you got any other degen plays?
No, mate, I don't want to go more degen than that. I can't be bothered monitoring stuff. I'll just buy it, set price targets on an exchange. They'll sell themselves.
Okay, we got about 13 minutes, so we want to do some Q&A. If we get some Q&A going.
We'll do Q&A, and then if we run out, we'll do some... Ben was so worried. He's like, what if we're on stage and we run out of stuff to say?
I want to do some questions.
Just move along, mate, move along.
Do we have... is Alice here?
All right, we've got a question up the back there. If Alice has a mic. What else did you have to talk about, mate? What were the next things?
The raw power. Like, what does crypto look like at 10 trillion? That's really like... That's the next big thing.
Okay, let's talk about that for like 30
seconds.
seconds.
100 trillion.
There's a lot of calls like Cathie Wood, Raoul Pal, for the next 8 years, which is conveniently 2 cycles, crypto to go from 3 trillion to 100 trillion. That is insane. Even if they're off by a factor of 2, still 50 trillion. That is a huge, huge market. Start to think about what your crypto bags will look like, how much wealth you will have, and start planning for that. Also plan your structuring. Do that really well. Your tax structuring and legal structuring.
Okay, we had a question.
Thank you. My question relates to you saying to sell in the last month of the bull run. What is the last month? And how do you find it?
Bergs, what's the last month? The bull month?
You're the one that said that, mate. I'm not stupid enough to say that.
Fuck. So just to be clear, I'm saying that most of the gains come in the last month, but I'm saying you don't want to wait until the last month to sell everything. Definitely take profits on the way up. The reality is we don't know. Our projection is somewhere around Q3 or Q4 next year. But really we're going to know once we start to see some of the on-chain analysis and see, really the biggest indicator for me is whales. When whales start to sell their long-term Bitcoin positions and money rotates into altcoins, that's when you know if you can overlay that with sentiment and you can see the exchange volumes, you see the new signups and match that up with that on-chain data, that's when we can start to predict. So that's essentially what we do at Collective Shift. We've got 4 amazing analysts that help us with that. But my prediction is middle to late next year.
Yeah, we do, like even Checkmate does a lot of on-chain analysis when the older coins are moving. You'll get the sentiment, the euphoria, you'll start to understand it. Your Uber driver's trying to sell you a token. They're all really, really good signals. And I don't know anyone that sold their entire stack at one point. If you're starting to get those signals, sell a small amount, 10%. You average into these things, you can average out as well. And you're not going to get right at the top or right at the bottom. You're going to get a nice fat chunk in the middle and you're going to do well.
We'll get the next question, but while I'm talking, I've been talking to some of the exchanges. So we work with CoinSpot, SwiftX, Coinbase. What's interesting is that the volume that they're seeing on the exchanges right now is that me?
Yeah, it's you.
Is similar to March of this year in terms of volume, but nowhere near 2021 yet. So the exchanges are not seeing the same volume that we were back in 2021. So, and if you also look at the total 3 on TradingView, if you look on TradingView and go to the total 3 market cap, which is essentially the altcoin market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're still not at all-time highs yet. So there's still been more capital in altcoins in previous cycles. That's where we started.
And who was around in like 2017, 18? Hands up. And who was around for 21? Right. I want you to remember what that felt like. You can't lose. Instant ICO. Get your $80 Ethereum, chuck it into an ICO, listing, instant 10x. Everyone's making money. Everyone's a genius. Top signal. in 2021. Everyone's in Discords. We're all going to make it. Everyone's quitting their jobs. Discord's basically your second screen. NFTs are amazing. Top signal. Look for those kind of things where there's a irrational exuberance.
And that's Solana on Pump.fun right now, to be fair, but we'll see.
But again, not everyone's doing it. Your mates aren't doing it. They're not talking to you about crypto at dinner.
The 12-year-olds are doing it. They're making money. Right, next question. I think there's a mic rolling around somewhere.
There we go.
Alice? Oh, yeah.
That's all right. Alice is coming down. We've got some sick merch as well. Alice has the barbell shirt on. We've got Kiss My Assets. And what was the volatility one? We'll start throwing that out to the crowd in a sec.
Hi. You've both indicated you're going to hang on to your BTC, never sell it. Why wouldn't you sell it at this market period during the next bull market, or this bull market, and then buy back in later on when it drops? Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, to be clear, I'm selling about 50% of my Bitcoin this cycle to do that strategy. But that's to reinvest in the next cycle, but also to buy property and diversify. What Bergs was saying is that once you sell your Bitcoin, now you've got a cash problem. Like, what the fuck do you do with the cash? Buy more Bitcoin again. So
Yes.
it's like,
I understand.
So for me, it's a cap gains event, tax, all that good stuff. But that doesn't even matter to me. What matters is I'm trying to catch a falling knife. I might get priced out. Things might move very, very quickly. There is a lot of demand in this market. So for me, if I had to tag it, it would be loss aversion. I don't want to chase an extra 10, 20, 30%. That really is not going to make a difference to my life to get a bigger stack for spending tokens that I'm not going to spend. If it meant something meaningful to me, I would do it, but that does not outweigh the feeling I have of getting priced out and having fiat and missing out on that Bitcoin that I know I'll want to have in the future.
it's also easier said than done to just sell at the top and buy at the bottom. Like, fuck, that sounds easy. Like, reality is most people can't do it. I had a guy that I met the other day that has been buying Bitcoin since like $2,000, $3,000. I got to 70,000. He sold a lot because he thought it was going to have a big retracement, and it never did. And now he's on the sidelines from 70 to 100, going, fuck, what should I do now? Like, to be sat on the sidelines in a bull market too, it sucks. So, yeah, just be careful. It's easier said than done. Next question.
Hi, you mentioned that some banks or financial institutions are allowing you to borrow against your crypto or Bitcoin, for example, instead of selling. Can you name some of these? Because most of them are quite difficult to deal with.
Was this a planted question by those guys at the back there?
No, this is an actual personal
There's
question.
Block Earner, those guys there. And we've also got, was it Vield? Yeah, so they've both got booths here.
Okay.
And-
Blockadder and, sorry, who?
Vield, is it Vield?
Block earner.
Block Earner.
Earner and Eva. Okay, thank you so much.
And just be careful with that as well. So ask the guys when they actually custody your Bitcoin, if that's a capital gains event. Because the way that it's actually structured, held, and the contract you have, just check that out. Because if it's just your money going there and your money coming back, it's not a cap gains event. Be very cautious
Very
and
clear.
ask them that question.
Thank you,
And
Greg.
we're not giving advice to do that. Very, very not advice.
Yeah, talk to those guys. I'll give you the advice.
Thank you.
Don't want to get sued. Next question.
Mate, should we do some merch or what?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get Alice to.
Hello. Some of you might be too young. I lived in New York City at a time of the financial crisis. And my indicator to sell was when a taxi driver, cab driver, gave you the advice what stock to buy, right? And
That's
a couple
it.
months later, things collapsed. I see some signs when I hear those conversations, but I don't want to be bearish. I'm sure there's a run and everything going, but I think we should also be realistic.
I agree. And like my main metric for that is if I talk to my 10 closest friends or family members, 0 of them have any idea about what's actually happening in this space. I also look at the media and I see hardly any Bitcoin activity or reporting. Like, this space is booming for us and it's still not even in the mainstream vocabulary yet. And we might even see, like, we're used to these huge whole of market retracements. We might see a decoupling with Bitcoin as well because of the demand that's built in from countries and companies compared to all the altcoins. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's when everyone thinks they're making money, and like a lot of people are talking about crypto right now, but not a lot of people like making money just yet. I think when everyone's like I'm quitting and becoming a trader, when the plumber's like quitting his job, he can't come because he's a full-time trader. It's like, okay, I'm just
Yeah, that's it. When it's up only, buy anything. Your tradies are rocking up at your house to build your patio and they're talking about the latest coin. That's how you know. But again, it's up to you individually. If you've hit your goals or you think things are too frothy or you're not comfortable, Sell a portion. Just do whatever's right for you.
Next question. Hey, Alice, would you mind bringing the merch, like one of each, so we can show everyone? Thank you.
Guys, just wondering what you think the likely outcome of the upcoming Microsoft vote on whether they'll deploy some of their cash and buy Bitcoin, and what sort of implications that might have for other corporates.
Let's go. I think there will be a leader. It may well be Microsoft. I think someone told me that Saylor only had 3 minutes with the board to kind of convince them. Microsoft have a lot of money. They've essentially got their own bank. Their currency is getting debased. They need to do something with it. If it's them, it is going to be amazing, right? So there's going to be so much more buy pressure. They're going to be way behind Saylor. But again, they've got a treasury problem where you have a bunch of cash. What do you do with it? A lot of them will rebuy their shares and give the cash to their shareholders, and it's now their problem. What people haven't considered is there's the board, great, but there's also shareholder activism. When it gets to a point, and this is what we saw with family offices. So wealthy people have family offices, they invest their money, and they're talking to their guys that invest in shares and private equity. How come these Bitcoin guys are getting 50 to 100% returns and we're getting 20? That forced them to go and buy Bitcoin. When shareholders see this in other companies, they can then essentially like vote the board of directors out, or they can activate and be like, no, we want you to do this because it's in our interest for this company. I'll be very excited to see that.
Awesome. Next question. By the way, while Alice is doing that, we'd all love for you, we got about maybe three more questions. We'd all love for you, if you don't listen to Ben and Bergs, we're on YouTube and on all the podcasting apps twice a week. It's literally what this is. We talk crypto and business. And for the real fans, we have some merch, which we'll give away at the end.
You got to hold them up.
Okay,
so I'm so happy we got these. These are amazing. Have you got one of each? Oh, mate. So these are the Ben and Bergs merch. We've got tons. Come and grab it.
We've got the front, and then we've got some quotes on the back.
There we go. What's that one?
Capital.
Deploying capital on chain. So good.
We've got volatility.
Volatility is my friend.
Volatility is my friend, but he's my favorite.
Kiss my assets.
Kiss my assets.
How good.
So if you want some after this, come up to the stage, we'll give you.
Come up, grab your merch. All right, next question, folks.
So my question is Collective Shift looking at opening up a platform where we can deposit some funds so we can copy trade your trades, essentially, given there's only about 6 people here that do crypto full-time, other than you two?
So we've looked into this quite heavily, and the licensing that we would need is significant, and it's unclear to do that, right? So for us as a business, we focus on a membership model. In the future, when we get further clarity, and if we want to be a deposit-taking institute, that is a road we will go down. But that is a heavy cost road, compliance road, and it's very challenging at the moment. So we've strategically said we are not doing that. If things change, I think things are going to change a lot in the States, and if we follow suit, that is a good option for us.
2 more questions? I know where Alice is.
Alice is coming around.
Down the front
So,
here.
by the way, Alice is amazing. She is Ben's EA, organised his entire life. He has lost his hotel little key about 15 times already. He's been in Sydney for 3 days. She organises his life and mine. She is amazing.
Thank you, Alice.
I'm 18 and I've got about 100K in Dogwifhat and Pepe. Do you think by next year that'll be $1 million so I can buy a house?
Sorry, correct me. $100,000 of
Bit of Dogwifhat and Pepe.
100,000 each or 50-50?
50-50.
Yeah. Do you own anything else?
No.
Let's go.
Lad.
How old are you?
18.
What did you start with? Can I ask?
What do you mean?
How much money did you start
What
with?
invest?
100K.
Like 40K?
How much?
Good.
40K.
Well done. And what was the question?
Like, do you think it'll 10x by the end of
10x,
next year?
10x.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially yes. Like I think it's less likely that you'll 10x. I think the memes maybe have guesstimation 5 to 7x. But the hardest thing is to wait that long and then sell right at $1 million is very, very unlikely. So what I would do is, like, as you're going up, I'd be taking profits either in BTC or stables, and then going again in the next bear market, and then have 2 houses.
At least when you 2x or 3x, take your initial investment out, and I'll give you a cautionary tale. Just 20 seconds more, time's up. We had a guy that was exactly like this. He put 10K in, he wanted to get to $2 million, got to 1.8 million, didn't take any profits. His investment is now worth 9K. So you don't have to have $1 million to get a house. You can have 100K and get a deposit for it. And then you can further, the further along your meme coins go, pay off that house. It's not all or nothing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much, folks. We're going to take a quick photo and then come up and grab some merch.